I remember the exact words. Family means sacrifice. That's what my dad said as he slid my plane ticket across the table. He didn't give it to me. He gave it to my sister's fiancé, a man who hadn't paid a cent and lived off her, and off us, and me. I was the one who had wired the money. $31,400 for the flights, the villa, and the excursions. Every detail was booked on my card. But just like that, my seat was gone. My dad had decided this freeloader deserved to go, and I was told to step aside. I didn't argue. I didn't beg. I just smiled, pushed back my chair, and said, "Of course." They thought they had one, but I was already plotting their downfall. I used to believe family meant loyalty. I thought my dad would always protect me the way he did when I was a kid. But as I grew up and my sister got engaged, things changed. My dad's pride in me turned into irritation. My sister's failures became excuses. And every time, I was the one expected to give way. I paid, I covered, I sacrificed, and they took. When I booked that trip, I imagined it would be the first time in years. We would all be together without tension. I thought sunshine, beaches, and shared laughter could fix our old problems. Foolish, wasn't it? The moment my dad told me my place was better used, I stopped being the provider and became the architect. The plan. My first move was to modify the bookings. Everything was in my name. The flights, the villa, the car rentals, the excursions. Every single confirmation was linked to my email and my card. I didn't cancel anything. That would have been too easy and too merciful. Instead, I quietly and carefully modified the reservations. The beautiful beachfront villa became a cramped inland rental with no air conditioning. The spacious SUV became a compact stick-shift car, which none of them knew how to drive. The excursions, the snorkeling, the luau, the helicopter tours were all removed. I let them believe everything was still perfect. My sister gushed about sunsets, and my dad bragged to friends about the dream trip, all while the ground beneath them was already crumbling. My second move involved the finances. Since my card was tied to the bookings, I quietly pulled it. I swapped their flights to the cheapest economy fares, which meant no luggage and their seats were scattered across the plane. At check-in, they'd discover they had middle seats and could only bring carry-ons. When they arrived at the rental counter in Hawaii, sweating in the tropical heat, they'd find a tiny, dented car waiting that they couldn't even drive. But the real masterpiece wasn't in the small details. It was in the exposure. I left just one booking untouched, a reservation at a 5-star oceanfront resort. I booked it under my dad's name and my card, but I moved the payment responsibility to his. He would be asked for his card, and would be on the hook for the $31,000. I could already picture his face, the veins rising on his forehead, when the clerk would tell him, "Sir, we'll need the card on file to finalize this reservation." The night before their flight, I sent one final message in the family group chat. "Enjoy the trip. Consider it my gift." And then I muted the thread. The aftermath. The fallout came fast. From the airport, my sister sent a string of panic texts. Their seats were split. No luggage was allowed. My dad's rage came through in half-baked insults. I said nothing. Hours later, my sister called, breathless and furious. "The villa's not what you booked. It's a shack. No air." I let her voice echo into silence before I hung up. Then came the call I had been waiting for, my dad's. His voice was a low growl. "They're saying I owe $31,000 at the hotel. Fix this now." I almost laughed. "No worries, Dad. Family means sacrifice, remember." And then I hung up. They spent the trip suffocating in a hot rental house, eating grocery store noodles because their budget had disappeared. There was no car to get around, no excursions, and no luxury, just heat, resentment, and each other. Meanwhile, I wasn't at home sulking. I was in Maui at the 5-star hotel. My name was on the suite. I sipped champagne on the balcony, watching the waves alone, at peace and unbothered. I saw them once on the third day, trudging down the boardwalk, sweat-soaked and snarling. They didn't see me, or maybe they did but couldn't bring themselves to approach. Either way, I raised my glass in their direction and smiled. When they came home, the silence was deafening. My sister avoided me. My dad couldn't look at me. My mother muttered half-hearted excuses about misunderstandings. But I knew I had shown them what sacrifice really looked like. That trip became their worst memory, a blistering, suffocating, humiliating disaster they would never live down. But for me, it was freedom. The last time they took from me, and the first time I took everything back. I don't regret a thing.